Hey, it's Roland, and I'm right now in Shenzhen in China, and I finally got my hands on a Xiaomi Mi Mix. So the Mi Mix is what we all heard about, this crazy awesome phone from Xiaomi that has this super tiny bezel. I mean, they're cheating a bit on the promotion materials because they make it look like the screen borders really goes all the way to the edge here of the frame, but in reality there's like a 1.5 millimeter inner border around the screen, but basically it still has this dope look where you don't have any bezels. And what's also special about this is that they have cut round the corners of the screen itself, so this is not covered by any part of the screen or the bezel or whatever. It is just cut round. So this is possible because Sharp is employing this awesome technology where they're able to control all parts of the screen without having it be totally rectangular. And this is a Sharp XO panel. The screen resolution isn't the highest because it's at 2040 by 1080, so it's kind of unusual. It has a 1080 horizontal resolution, but 2040 is what they're using vertically in this case. So when you watch videos, you will end up having a small bezel on both sides of the screen because it's a bit wider than the 1080 or the 16:9 aspect ratio that is usual on videos. The screen itself is a 6.4-inch panel, and it's massive actually, but it's not really that massive because it could be much bigger, but because they're cutting off the corners or cutting off the top part and cutting it so tight on the sides, you'll end up with a phone that's barely bigger than an iPhone 6s Plus or an iPhone 7 Plus, for example, or maybe even a Mate 9 or Mate 8 from Huawei. Under the hood is a Snapdragon 821, which is the most up-to-date SoC from Qualcomm, as we all know. And you can see this is the fastest version. It runs at 2.35 gigahertz. Also, we have 4 gigabytes of RAM in here. This is a smaller version, smaller only in the memory kind of sense. We have 128 gigs of flash storage in here. I think this is even UFS memory. The higher end model, or the bigger version, has even 6 gigabytes of RAM and 256 gigabytes of flash storage. There is no micro SD card slot for storage extension, but I guess you can live with that if you have 128 gigabytes of internal storage in this case. The reason they cut this is basically they want to show off the concept of a borderless or even bezel-less phone. Sharp has been doing this with their own phones. Now they got bought by Foxconn, and Foxconn is one of the main partners of Xiaomi. So that's why we end up with this crazy concept phone. They're calling it a concept phone, but they're actually marketing it. So you can buy this in China. It runs at it's 472 euros for this model with the 4 gig storage or 4 gig memory. If you get the higher end model, it will be around 560 euros. I guess you can calculate the US prices yourself. It does not have any big frame around the top, but it does have a small frame at the bottom, as you can see right here, and this is also where they put the 5 megapixel front-facing shooter. The corners are not only cut round on the top, but they're also cut round at the bottom. I mean, you can't really see this right now, but if you look closely down here at the edge, you'll see it's also cut round there. There are no capacitive touch buttons on this device, unusual for Xiaomi. So right now they're putting them on screen, and as you can see, you end up having these buttons down here. And because the device is so big, they've thought of this tiny round shape back here, and you can see that you have a bunch of control or Android buttons for using the MIUI 8 that's running on here, and you can move this around and stuff, so you can basically put it wherever it fits you best, so you don't always have to reach down here to use the buttons at the bottom of the screen. The whole thing is encased in this kind of ceramic housing. They're using this material because it looks absolutely dope. I mean, this is a black device, but it shines in this silvery color. One big disadvantage of this is that it will attract fingerprints like mad. So if I just touch here, and you should also already be able to see that there's a bunch of fingerprint marks right there. So this is what happens when you use this ceramic cover. But in the packaging, for the around 500 euros that you pay for it, you get this leather casing that actually looks really good. I'm going to put it on later and you'll see it looks very, very nice on this device. Let's take a quick tour around. We have the volume rocker and the power button over here on the right side. They are very well built. I mean, they feel good. I think they're even made of the same material as the casing. The only thing is that the volume rocker is a bit wobbly, which, yeah, doesn't always look like the highest quality available. At the top, you get two mics up here. So there's one on the left and one on the right. There is also a 3.5mm headset jack. They're not doing away with that like other people are or other companies are. At the bottom, you get those two speaker-looking grills, but there's only a speaker behind this grill over here. This is where your USB Type-C port is. It is also Quick Charge 3.0 capable, so it will charge the device very quickly. The battery in here is actually a 4,400 milliamp hour unit, so that's how Xiaomi is actually ending up using all the space that this big casing offers, and you will end up having this, yeah, fast charging, massive battery that should give you a battery life of at least more than a day, even on heavy usage. You'll have another mic back here on the other side. And if we go over to the left, you will see that there is your nano SIM slot. It also takes two SIMs, so you can put two nano SIMs in here and use this for different networks or your data and calling SIM. Let's go over to the back where we end up having a 16 megapixel shooter back here. It does have an f2.0 aperture. There's your dual LED flash. The camera only uses face detection autofocus and contrast-based autofocus. There is no laser autofocus on this device. The fingerprint reader back here works very fast. I didn't set it up myself because this is not my device actually. It will make you able to unlock the device very, very quickly. The whole thing weighs in at 210 grams and it's 7.9 millimeters thick. So Xiaomi is actually not going for the thinnest design or whatever. They're just using this device to show off their technology and what they're capable of nowadays. If we look at the screen here, you'll see this is running MIUI 8. MIUI 8 is based on Android 6.0. So if I go in here, you'll be able to see, yep, that's 601 and running this MIUI 8. The software is the typical MIUI stuff that they always have on here. It's not modified in any way. So if you have ever been using a Xiaomi device, be it the Redmi 2, Redmi 3, whatever, even the cheapest models have this software on them. It is a highly customized version of Android, so you'll have to live with that. You can always put a different launcher on here and use it for, yeah, your liking, whatever, in any way that, yeah, you prefer basically. But you'll always have to live with this kind of heavily modified software as soon as you go deeper into the launcher. This device is only being made in very limited quantities. It has been said that they are only making 10,000 a month, which is very little for a device that should be in very high demand. Because, I mean, look at it. It's just crazy good looking and it has this awesome design to it. I haven't had a chance to use it much because, as I said, this is just a quick loan from a colleague. One more thing. The way they realize or they make it work with the earpiece is basically they're putting in a vibration motor or basically a ceramic element in here that generates sound behind the screen. So it's basically transferred through the screen into your ear. This is how they make or do away with the standard earpiece that you find on any other classic smartphone. So this is how the Xiaomi Mi looks wearing its pretty dope looking case. It makes the bezels a bit wider, so if you look closely you'll see, yep, there's a bit more bezel right here, but it looks very nice and it protects the device very well, I think. The frame or the cover is about 1 millimeter, maybe even a bit more thick, and as you can see they have imprinted the buttons on the side here. They still work very well, so you can easily unlock or, yeah, change the volume on the device. The casing looks awesome and it's definitely integrated, or it's coming with the device, so you will have this all the time and you should definitely use it, because I've noticed already that this is easily attracting scratches on the ceramic casing and even on the front cover glass. It doesn't cover the bottom back here because you always have to keep free for the speakers. I would have done it a bit differently and have this leather part go all the way around and just drill a bunch of holes in them in it, so you don't have the problem of scratching the bottom part back here. But you will probably take good care of this device. One thing that already became clear just after the launch is the fact that this device is actually, well, not the most stably or well built. Not well built, but the ceramic casing easily breaks. So there's been a bunch of pictures where you can actually see that this, not only did the screen crack when it dropped, but it also cracked the frame around the screen, and that is definitely something that you don't want to happen. So always put on this casing and you'll end up with a dope looking frameless or bezel-less design on this device. So again, this has just been a quick look at the Xiaomi Mi Mix here in Shenzhen.